This is certainly a special occasion for me. I feel like I know Victor Hurtado and his dog Holly, who I can see the top of her head in the background. Hi, beautiful girl. Hello, you gorgeous girl. The 9-year-old Holly with a gray beard and still helping Victor throughout his day and night. You are a star. You and Holly are a star, and you're stars of one of the most, for me, beloved movies that was submitted to the Dog Film Festival in the special category Service Dog Salute, which Purina Dog Chow has been supporting the concept of saluting service dogs and their veterans with PTSD for years. And I'm delighted to have them as part of the Dog Film Festival. Delighted to have seen so many amazing movies about veterans and their service dogs, and very proud and happy to congratulate you and the filmmaker Les Owen on the film One Mind, which is one of the $2,000 prize winners and one of the two films submitted that will be in the 10th annual Dog Film Festival. I think what I know, feel like I want to give you a hug because you put so much empathy for yourself and your dog and other veterans in your position, and so much intelligence and compassion for the people that even misunderstand you out in the world. And to open up your life when you already have PTSD and say, these are the ways in which I was hurting, and these are the ways in which I was going down a very dark path. And then to say, this dog has been my lifeline to the world. That takes a lot of courage, Victor, and I admire you for that. It takes a lot of courage to live with PTSD as a veteran, but also to overcome it with your four-legged entry into your four-legged helper in being entry back into the world. Was it hard for you to decide to say, yes, I'll be the star of your film? I know you didn't view it as stardom, but the subject.
It wasn't hard because Les asked me, he said he was doing this series of documentaries. And I'd known Les from being in the Army band, and he was in the Army band and stuff like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but we had only come across each other a couple of times. And so he asked me about doing this documentary, and I thought, yeah, I trust him. I trust him, and he's just a great guy. And I thought, we'll see what happens. And it wasn't a difficult thing to decide to do because it was for Les.
I see.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So the intimacy that we feel with you when we see the film One Mind, the one mind being yours and Holly's, a mind meld, if you will, that intimacy is really with your fellow band member who was a filmmaker, who became a videographer. So that's why you had that sense of, you don't have to turn that on. It was fine before. Now you look like you're in a tanning salon.
I do.
That's better. You look great. Come on. You look terrific. And plus you have really groovy glasses. One of the things I most appreciated about the film is that you took to heart what the mission of it was, which is to explain to the outside world what a veteran with PTSD is dealing with and how this specially trained dog helps you to navigate the world. And you're very direct about it. Was funny in the beginning. Talk about the coffee shop in the beginning where you say, I'm not blind. Okay, I'm just not blind. But that people assume that. And we people who either are able-bodied or able-minded, if you will, and don't need a service dog, it's easy for us to jump to conclusions and not understand what a service dog is doing for you, allowing you to be in a coffee shop, to be in a store buying groceries or a pharmacy, all of which we see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's interesting because we don't present. I don't present.
That's right.
Particularly, and I'm an old soldier. I really don't want to burden anyone. And then before I had Holly, and then it's too late. And then I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
If an episode starts and continues, the longer it goes on, the longer it takes for me to recover. And it's really difficult. Holly, yeah. And I had only had Holly for maybe 3 years at that point. We were not new, of course, in our relationship, but those things were happening at the time where people thought I was blind, and they continue to happen. I can't tell you how many people tell me there's a curb there or there's a...
Sorry to laugh.
Yeah. But it's true. And it's funny because on the other side of it, I'll tell you that an Uber came to pick me up the other day. We ride Metro Access, which is a disability ride share thing, but
Oh, interesting.
yeah, they'll send an Uber and the Uber driver says, you can't come on here with your pet. You had to
Oh
order
my.
an Uber pet. And I said, she's a service dog. He said, no, we can only let dogs on here that help the blind.
Because the driver had no clue.
Yeah. And I got in the car and just waited for him to go.
Did Holly get in first or second?
Ollie gets in first.
She does.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful moment in the film where you're taking her out of the car, and there's just this quiet closeness that you both have, and it feels different than one of us with a pet dog. Feels, yeah, you're going to exit the car, which is a safe place because she's in it with you. And now you're going to get out of the safe place because living in California, your car is your kind of armor.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And now you exit it, and it's the big, harsh world out there. Who knows what's coming around the corner? And in your case, who knows what's going to go into your mind if you hear a noise or have a flashback to something that triggers your PTSD? You already had a therapist. You already had, were you institutionalized or you simply had a suicide attempt? I can't remember.
I was institutionalized in 2016, and that's what really started the spiral to my actual diagnosis and to really find out what was wrong with me. Because until then, in fact, I was just talking today to my trauma therapist about my service humans that I had around me for 10 years,
Oh.
13 years when I was directing the Soldier Show. I don't know if you know who Irving Berlin was.
We all know Irving Berlin, but I want you to explain about the music that you were part of or leader of in the Army, because I don't think we know about that.
Yeah, so I was the director and writer, artistic director for the Soldier Show, and it's a huge endeavor. I had 17 people, choreographers, all of that. And through all of that, I was able to do it. And what I realized is that because I was the boss, I could leave the stage anytime I wanted. I can go off into my little dark room. I had two offices, an artistic office. And also, everyone ran interference for me because I was like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And so I was circumstantially accommodating.
Yeah.
And when that went away,
The job.
and the job went away, and I was left to my own devices, it triggered everything. And so I would go sleep under benches, and I would
Wow.
see myself homeless and see myself in people that were in dire straits or wouldn't leave the house. And it was really just I was just telling the therapist today too, because I have two new therapists. One is suicide prevention and one is my trauma therapist who I've been with for 7 years. I'm the longest patient at the DCVA that's actually a trauma patient in the trauma unit.
Wow.
Yeah.
But is that a badge of honor, or are you supposed to have graduated from, do you feel yourself, is it good that you're still getting the therapy, or?
It's good that I still have the therapy because I'm still by no means, and Holly makes the biggest difference in my life. But yeah, I'm by no means on the other side of anything.
It's not really a cure, is there, Victor? It's more like a management. The dog becomes your management of PTSD as a veteran.
I have to trust her. She becomes, again, six legs, one mind. She really is 2/3 of my mind. And she, particularly when it's medical, when my neurons aren't going to connect or something like that is happening, she can tell. And she has very interesting, cute things that she has to do. She has to put pressure on me. She has to distract me. She does all these different things that seem, oh my God, she's so needy. People are like, oh, she's so cute.
They totally misunderstand.
But absolutely, she will not stop until she feels like I'm going to be okay. Every time. And so I've just gotten accustomed to it. At first, it was really daunting because she sleeps with me and she would just jump on top of me. And I'd be like, what is she doing jumping on top of me? And the doctors and the trainer said, she's preventing night terrors. She feels you going into distress, and she puts the kibosh on it, basically.
Okay, so right now you're talking about this. It's got to be some amount of uncomfortable.
I don't know if you heard her whining. She was back.
I know I had seen her earlier, so I want to know, what is she doing in a moment where you seem, because now we're on YouTube, because it's, the wonders of modern technology. So those of you listening on podcast, you can also see us, which is, for me at first, I thought, are you kidding me? please, this is supposed to be radio, but never mind. It's the modern world. You can see us. And so you seem, and you in the movie seem happy, cheerful, outgoing, well spoken, confident, but you make it very clear that there is an entire series of buttons, if you will, that can be pushed either by you, by your history, or by something happening in the outside world. And it just takes one of those buttons to be pressed to send you towards that dark, scary, disturbing place.
All of that. Yeah. Yeah. It's, oh my God, I lost my train of thought for a second. What I wanted to say is that's who I am.
Right.
That's who biologically, beautifully, that's how I was made
Yeah.
to be a happy, super, you know what I mean? Just,
Yes.
I love people. I've had so many what we call capital T traumas. So I've
Mhm.
survived child sexual trauma, rape, military sexual trauma,
Wow.
bullying. I was telling my new therapist today, I'm like, the only thing I don't have is a bullet in my body. I haven't been shot. And all of those things erode
Yeah, your natural self.
but cellularly, you're this person, right? And I'm like a float that somebody punched holes in, and we're just trying to patch it all the
Yeah.
time, you know, so that I can say,
And Holly is the glue.
Holly is the patch, Holly is the glue.
Patch with the glue.
Absolutely, yeah. And before I had her, it was just a scary world. I tell people I love, like, my one of my favorite artists is Picasso. And they said, why? I said, I've come to realize I've always loved Picasso because if I look at one of his paintings, most people will look and go, there's a nose over here and there's an eye over
Right.
here. And I'm like, I look at it and I make sense of it because that's what I have to do in my life.
Yeah.
I have to make sense of a nose on the side and a mouth over here. And
Fragments. Fragments.
yeah, things don't look the same to me most of the time.
I think that the beauty of the film and of having this category is to have those of us who simply love and appreciate and enjoy our dogs understand that there's a completely other level of connection with a dog that saves lives. And we know about search and rescue dogs. They're amazingly cool. Leading people that have sight impairments is easy to understand, or those who have physical disabilities and the dog helps with the wheelchair or the cane or some such. But the problem with PTSD is it is the invisible wound. And the warriors, those who've been in the military and have suffered traumas that have left them traumatized for life. And in World War One, we called it shell shock, and right. And then in World War Two, they called it something else. In the Vietnam War, they called it something else. But this has been what happens to soldiers. And historically, they're not allowed or don't allow themselves to express the emotion, to connect with that trauma. And so they live a shut down life, or in some
Yep,
people, a totally withdrawn life. These dogs create miracles for the veterans who get them.
absolutely. There's no other word to use but
Yeah.
miracle. Absolutely. And the thing is that it's not just us as individuals that go through trauma. We're constantly surrounded by people who, wives that are like, I don't know if my husband's going to come back, or friends that are going to be deployed next week, or friends that have just gotten back. And so you're constantly trying to help each other. And we're such a small pool of people now because there's no draft. In a town of 100,000 people, there may be 100 or 200 that have actually been deployed and served, as opposed to three-fourths of the population. So it's difficult for us to even find each other to help each other. And a lot of times we just don't have the bandwidth for it either. We're both, completely broken or broken at that time. And we really don't know what to tell you to do because we don't know what to do.
But the miracle is the dog. But the medicine are these doctors, these shrinks, these specialized shrinks.
And I'll say a PTSD and brain injury dog is a fairly new concept, and they started to really ramp it up when we started to come back, when the military started to come back particularly from this very long war, right? And they're remarkable. They're trained in a very different way. They have to be intuitive. They're not just, like you said, helping you do several things. They have to be intuitive, and they have to And if you can imagine how much a Labrador has to love you and wants to help you, that they have to ignore other dogs,
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
and other people
Yeah.
100% of the time.
She was purpose bred for this. And
It
in the
was.
longer version of the movie, we see you go back to the place where she was placed with you and see
Oh yeah.
brothers and half sisters and a mother and an auntie, because they find a strain of dogs who have this capacity for empathy,
Yeah.
this emotional connection, and a sense of devotion where everything else fades away for them when they're working, and they're always working. When does she get time off?
So she, there's two things that she does, actually several things. When we're outside of the house, she has to come, she has to do what we call our public access cues, which means that she has to keep me safe. She also has to not bark, not beg, not do any of those kind of
Right.
things, because she's on the public and she's like a person. She has the same rights as a person, whether
Yeah.
it's an airplane or anything like that. And she, when we're home, she's really goofy. And anytime somebody comes over, she goes and tries to find a shoe to bring them. I say she doesn't know how to be a like a dog, like
A regular companion dog.
a regular companion dog that gets to do these things outside of here. So
Right.
yeah, she has behaviors here that are just like people would think are so weird, that she has to bring you a gift, but that's what she knows, and that's what our relationship has been from the
Yeah.
very beginning. But it's really interesting when my partner was just blown away the first time that I brought her home to California. And of course, he didn't know her and all that. But the first time he met her was inside the house. So she was released, we call released, and was able to say hello to him and all that. So we opened the door and I said, okay, let's go. And when I say let's go, she stops. And he was trying to get her attention. He was trying to, and she just completely ignored him.
Oh,
Yes, I was playing with you a while ago, but now I'm working, and do not distract me because I'm taking care of Victor.
wow. Do you have her harness on? Do you put the harness on to tell her now is work time?
She inherently knows that, just like any other dog would know. If
Yeah, sure.
you shoot a duck, go get it. You know what I mean?
And also you put your shoes on, the going out shoes.
But she doesn't have to have it on to work. I think a lot of people think that it's for the dog, really. And of course, like I said, inherently she knows, but she's just the same without it if I give her the cues. And the harness, the vests really are for two reasons. One is so that if something happens to me and she's not able to help me, that I drop the leash and she goes to get someone to get help.
Oh my God, that gave me a
Yeah.
chill.
Yeah. If you ever see a service dog without their person, they want you to follow them back.
Oh, that gives me chills.
So I want everyone to know that.
That's Lassie. That's the true Lassie,
Yeah. And the
not the
second,
fake Hollywood Lassie.
yeah, and the second thing is that most of the time when people see a service dog vest, they'll know not to come up and try to pet her or to distract her and that kind of thing. You would hope. So she knows we're working when she knows that we're working. When I tell her let's go is the most powerful word in our vocabulary.
That's something.
It means she goes right next to me. It doesn't matter if we're in the kitchen. If I say let's go, she comes right over and she heels and she waits for the next. She will not move until I go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about the fact that she's 9, and a lot of service dogs around this age, no matter what their service is, are getting retired. And she has a grizzly white chin.
Yeah.
You told me that she aced her, is it a recertification exam? How do they, who determines that the dog is done doing this job?
Absolutely. So there is a recertification. It's annual, and it's an entire day. So
Nope. Hey,
it's an entire day, and there's an accreditation organization called Service Dogs International. Or it's not
okay.
Service Dogs, but it's Assistance Dogs International, which is a very well known and accredited and that kind of thing. And so they set the standards. And so for Holly, the standards are even higher because you might be distracted a little bit and somebody in a wheelchair is still fine. But my entire environment affects me. So she has to be 98, 99% on. And they make her stay, and I have to walk to the other end of Target and walk around her and come back. And she's still there. They throw food on the ground. They have babies run at her.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a very strict And these women, because they're all women at this point, the trainers are very serious about the accreditation. So it's not determined by their age, it's determined by whether they can still do their job.
And they still want to do it.
Yeah. So I'm imagining that this next testing, I don't know because I'm not a trainer, that they
Right.
might say, okay, she aced it, but come back in 6 months. Okay, she's going to be 10. But they're happiest when they're with you. And I don't, you mentioned her aunties and all that stuff, but there's one of her babies, Josie's in there as well.
No kidding.
Yeah. She had 18 babies. She came to me when she was 3.
He'd already had 2 litters.
He had 8 and 10, and 16 are full-fledged service dogs helping autistic children, helping firefighters with PTSD, helping a girl with a brain tumor that's benign, but it affects her. She's in a wheelchair.
Wow.
Going to law school, and this dog is making it possible for her to go to law school. And so
Amazing.
16. So she had 18. The other 2 had career changes, and they're therapy dogs with psychologists at UVA.
Wow.
So I say I'm the 19th puppy. I'm the one she kept.
Oh, Victor,
I'm
that's
sorry.
lovely.
I'm sorry. I'm the one she kept.
Oh,
You know,
my. The others all had to go away, and you got to be with her for her
I
life.
got lucky. Yeah, I'm the one that she
Puppy.
takes care of
Your
every
puppy.
day.
That's so touching. It's so wonderful to meet the 19th puppy. She was an amazing mom, and now she's still an amazing mom.
Yeah,
You don't have to say, let's go when you're sleeping, because you could be in your sleep having these chemical changes that happen from stress, nightmares, night terrors, and she gets right on you.
yeah.
So
She
she knows that you have come out of that.
she knows what. Yeah, she knows what to do. People think that these dogs are reactive, and seeing eye dogs are reactive. They see the lights turn and all that stuff. She's a percentage, she's preventive. So she's trained to try to mitigate.
Yes, catch you at the very beginning.
Yes, because once people are like, what's it like? I said, I don't know if you drink. For a couple of days as a young man, I had a few drinks. And so you know how you're drinking and you're taking shots and you're drinking beer and stuff. And then there's that moment where you've tipped over to the other side and you're not yourself anymore. You just keep taking more shots and more shots.
Yeah, people do
That's the tipping. That's what happens
emotionally.
if an episode continues. I get to the point on the other side where I don't know. I'm not really there anymore. I'm essentially like messed up.
Yeah, and freaked out and scared
and drunk and
not in your right mind.
And things don't make sense.
And
Yeah.
so, as her 19th puppy, I just want to say, isn't it great that you haven't had to get to that place? That she's kept you from going to that place.
Yeah.
Victor,
There's been a couple of times where circumstantially I've had to let go of her leash. I'll give you one. Yeah, one
we're
time.
out of time, sweetheart. You can't tell me. I'll have to try and see you at the Dog Film Festival. Those of you who want to see this movie, the premieres in New York City, October 26th. I'm very much hoping that Victor and Holly will be there with any luck. They'll find a way to be there. And you can meet him and her in person. The 19th puppy and the beautiful mama who made so many great babies to help so many people. Victor, thank you for your courage in living every day with such elan, with such spirit, and for coming here and bearing your soul and helping us to understand the true meaning of the human canine bond. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Tracie.